Welcome to the FunkMMA Strength and Conditioning Podcast, hosted by Funk Roberts, former professional athlete, certified MMA conditioning coach, and master of metabolic training. Funk is one of the leading conditioning coaches in the martial arts industry today and has a following of over 500,000 combat athletes around the world. His workouts and training principles have been used by many professional fighters, including fighters in the UFC, Bellator, and ONE FC, as well as World Muay Thai champions, Glory Kickboxers, and ADCC BJJ champions. Join me in welcoming your host, Funk Roberts.
We are live, people. Welcome to the FunkMMA Strength and Conditioning Podcast, episode number 6, with your host, the Funkster here. And in today's episode, I'm bringing you guys a special gift, Dr. John Spencer Ellis. And, you know, John and I are friends. We've been friends for many years. We've worked together. We've partnered together. We've created things together. And John's the CEO and president of NESTA, which is a exercise and sports association that has, you know, programs and certifications and education for trainers. And the reason why I'm having him on the show today, I think it's really important because this is a strength and conditioning podcast. I get people asking me all the time, hey, Funk, you know, what's the best MMA, you know, trainer certification or strength and conditioning certification for people who want to train fighters? You know, what's the best one out there? You know, should I just go local or what? And there are a lot out there, I believe. I think there's a lot of like weekend, you know, like, okay, I go on Friday or go on Saturday and Sunday and I come out with this certification, which I don't know. I mean, let's put it this way. The certification that John Spencer Ellis, Dr. John Spencer Ellis created is the MMACA, which is the Mixed Martial Arts Conditioning Certification, Conditioning Coach Certification, which is a cert that I did when I started this journey. Man, it's like 70 hours of robust, education, lots of videos. It's all online. It took me a while to get it, but, you know, the fact is, this is the best MMA conditioning certification on the planet, no doubt. There's nothing out there that even touches the amount of information you get and what you'll learn when you come out of this. Like, you're gonna be like, I mean, it starts even from like the anatomy part to, you know, just like the stuff that you learn as a personal trainer, and then all the specificity and specific stuff that you'll learn is incredible. So I needed to have him on. I wanted to you know, just get what his thoughts were when he decided to create this years ago, you know, why he would create such a certification and why the certification is so robust. Like, if you have any inkling, like if you're already a personal trainer and you're like, you know what, I want to like start to train fighters more, you know, take this. If you're like someone who just wants to get into personal training, but you actually want to, you know, train more fighters and athletes, take this. And yeah, there's other certifications out there. Like, there's other strength and conditioning certifications out there that are just more general strength and conditioning, which are amazing. But this one is specific to the fighters. So everything you learn here and all the drills and all the things that you'll learn through, and, you know, from psychology and to nutrition and everything else, is all specific to the fighter. So, and as we know, like, and the other cool thing about this is it's not just about training fighters one-on-one. If you, like most MMA gyms or martial arts gyms, because it's not just MMA, it's martial arts, they'll have like, you know, they'll have like a fitness class. You know, like for me, I ran the strength and conditioning program at Evolution Thai in Toronto, which meant that if there were fighters that, you know, had fights coming up, I'd help them train for them. But most importantly, I would run the MMA fitness class, the strength and conditioning class. So every, you know, Thursday there was a class that I ran, and it was all the fighters and regular people too. So this will also give you that background, program design for stuff like that. So it's not just being a one-on-one coach, but being able to go into an MMA or martial arts gym and say, look, I'll be your fitness trainer here. I'll train fighters, and I'll also do your classes. So the amount of, you know, leverage that you have when you have something like the MMACA is huge. Like, you know, like for me, having the MMACA actually allowed me to create this FunkMMA. Like, I wouldn't have had FunkMMA if I didn't have the knowledge that I learned, and I was able to apply to fighters, and then I was able to create programs and do all this stuff. That all stems from this certification. So I thought it was really important to get him on and just pick his brain. And he's a martial artist too, and he's a beast. I mean, this guy's like he's a business owner. You're gonna learn a lot. I'm not gonna wreck it for you, but stay tuned for this one, man. This is gonna be good. Also just the guys like Mike Dolce and Cory Beasley, they've also were students and graduated from the certification. So this is legit, man. And like I'm telling you right now, there's nothing on the planet that's even close when it comes to an actual certification for fighters, like to train fighters, strength and conditioning for fighters. So that's why, I just wanted to premise this awesome episode. So be excited. You're going to learn a lot. And then also, of course, this episode is sponsored by the MMACA. Well, what do you think about that? Yes. So if you go to mixedmartialartsconditioningassociation.com and you put in I love MMACA when you check out, you're going to get 20% off that certification. Because I know that after you finish listening to this podcast, you're going to be like, I want to get the certification. Like I'm going to do this. It's like I say, 70 hours of videos. So there's so much information, but it's good information. It's not like overwhelming. Like you're going to MMA conditioning school, baby. That's what you're doing. You're going to school. So MMACA, go to mixedmartialartsconditioningassociation.com, put in I love MMACA when you check out, and you'll get 20% off. And you'll know you're in the right place because you'll see my mug on that page somewhere. Also, this episode is sponsored by FunkMMA, of course. If you go to funkmma.com, you can download my 6 free programs, conditioning programs that'll help get you started. Free programs, download them. There's workouts, there's cool information, there's programs, ab program, sprint program, because I love my sprints. So definitely go there, funkmma.com, and download those right now. And then also make sure that you finally download my fitness app. People have been asking me, Funk, when are you coming out with an app? When are you coming out with an app? Well, I came out with an app, people. My workout app, follow along workouts. All you have to do, it's free, so download it on iTunes. It's on iTunes right now, but we are going to be launching it on Android, so don't worry, guys. I know the Android aficionados are getting pissed that I don't have it on there, but we got to start somewhere, so we're starting with iTunes, and Android takes a little bit longer, so don't worry. We'll get it on. Go and download Funk Roberts app, the Funk Roberts fitness app. Download it now. You'll have workouts, bodyweight workouts. I'll be putting on kettlebell workouts, dumbbell workouts, hybrid workouts. And then you've got the strength and conditioning fighters workouts on there too. So definitely go download that. And finally, do me a favor, guys. This is a new podcast. This is strength and conditioning. I'm looking at my board right now, and I've got like 20 people lined up, like serious 20 guests. So I just need you to help me out because I want to get more guests, better guests, high profile guests. And the only way I can do that is if you guys subscribe, if you guys give this a 5-star rating. So just, click on 5-star, rate this baby, no matter where you're listening to this, comment, so if it's on, even if you're listening on YouTube, just, leave a comment, give me some love. And definitely share this with all your other fighter buddies and friends and trainers and everything else. Anyways, I'm done talking here. I want to get to this podcast. So thanks so much for listening to the intro. But now let's get to the podcast. Let's get it done. We are live. Everybody, welcome to the Funk MMA Strength and Conditioning Podcast. This is episode number 6. I'm your host, Funk Roberts, and I'm excited for this episode. This is going to be one of my favorite episodes. You're going to feel the passion behind me in this episode because today we have a good friend of mine. We've partnered in some things together. He's been a mentor of mine for many years, Dr. John Spencer Ellis. And before we even talk to John, I just want to give you a little overview of the body of work that this man is doing. Dr. John Spencer Ellis, he's the president and CEO of Nesta. Nesta, if you don't know, is a professional fitness association that offers like certifications and educational courses. Not only that, John's a business coach. John's a speaker. He's spoken on many stages with many of the world's best. He's authored and or co-authored over lots of books, but 5 best-selling books. 5 best-selling books. That's insane. Plus, he's not only a smart business, obviously being a doctor, smart business, but he's a beast in training, because he used to be an endurance athlete, which means, doing triathlons and long bike races. Also martial arts, black belt in Kung Fu, brown belt in Taekwondo, Krav Maga, Muay Thai. He's even competed in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu World Championships. He's been on Oprah Radio. He's produced, listen to this, he's produced an award-winning documentary movie, The Compass. He's been in print media, and he's not only runs the personal, well, he is in the Personal Trainer Hall of Fame. Anyways, I could go on forever. That's a crazy thing about this. I could be here forever, but let me introduce you to Dr. John Spencer Ellis. John, thank you for being on this show today.
Thank you. And I have to emphasize that just all that stuff states that I'm old.
Wise, man, wise.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Yeah, so thank you for being on the show. And today, I think I'm going to premise this again by saying you're probably going to be on the show quite a bit, because you have a lot of information, a lot of great things that you can share with people. But for today specifically, the reason why I have you on here is because of your tie with Nesta and the Mixed Martial Arts Association, Mixed Martial Arts Conditioning Coach Certification. Now, for those of you who have never heard of it, again, it's the Mixed Martial Arts Conditioning Coach Certification. It's a certification that I was certified from many years ago. And it's literally what actually, it's changed my life. Once I got that certification, my business has been built around it. How I train fighters has been built around it. The workouts that I put out have been built around getting this certification. And I didn't know that that's what was going to happen, but having the knowledge that I learned from that cert has allowed me to do all this stuff. And the thing is that you have to understand, there is no other MMA conditioning or strength and conditioning certification in the world that even comes close to this. Back in the day when I was looking for some type of a cert, there were like these weekend certifications, MMA trainer or whatever. And this one kept coming up in my feed, or kept coming up. And I looked at it and I was like, man, this, as I started to read the breakdown of what's involved, all the different lessons and everything, and that was like 70 hours. I'm like, man, I think this is what I want. I don't want a weekend course, because that's not going to teach me what I want. I want to learn everything about being a coach for MMA and martial artists, because that's what I wanted. So this was the one that I took, and I'm telling you guys, it took me a while to get through it, but I learned everything. I learned so much from this that I continue to go, and I still use it today. I go into the dashboard, and if I want to, like for instance, I trained James McSweeney, former UFC fighter James McSweeney, for his last KSW championship fight. And, because I run a business and everything else, I didn't really, I had to go back, because I haven't been doing a lot of program designing up to this point, especially for a guy who used to be in the UFC and is fighting professionally and fighting for a belt. I had to really go back and take a look and kind of refresh myself. And so the first place I went was, my MMACA. Went to the program design section, and boom, right away I'm like, yes, of course, this is how, and then it was enabled me to create an awesome program that I shared and used with James McSweeney. And that's kind of like, this thing stays with you forever. So you do the course the first time, you get your certification, and I'm telling you, man, the knowledge that you have, you can train anyone in the world. And that's how I wanted to introduce this, so it makes sense. So John, tell me about that cert. How did that come about?
Well, the MMA Conditioning Association is a division of NESTA, which is the National Exercise and Sports Trainers Association. Now, NESTA has been around since 1992, a very long time. But the MMACA is what we call it for short, came around in 2010. And just like how we've done a lot of other things, is we wanted to fill in a gap that we felt there was. And, the challenge is that a lot of people, and just think back to where, mixed martial arts conditioning was years ago. You thought you just had to just crucify people in a workout, and everything was overly metabolic. and some things were not therapeutic, some things were not restorative, or then there was people saying, well, you can't do or shouldn't do Olympic lifting, and then there's power lifting, and then what about kettlebells, and how's all that fit in? But I also like yoga, and then we needed perspective on injury prevention from athletic trainers and physical therapists and so on. And then there's here's the interesting thing too, because I started out in traditional martial arts. Right. Kung Fu was my first art. I did that for 12 years before I did anything else. And so there's a lot of good you can learn from that stuff, but obviously it's not the only thing in the cage. Otherwise, everyone would be a Kung Fu master in the UFC belt, and that's obviously not the case. Right. But there's something to learn from all these things. Look what Machida has taught us about the importance of karate and how important it is. Look at when he did the Karate Kid crane kick, which is actually a stepstool kick, is what he did when he knocked out Randy Couture's front tooth.
That's right. Yes, in Toronto, actually, that was.
Yeah, and then you see someone like is it Barbosa that does that crazy wheel kick, and then you see all different kinds of different martial arts that are very good, and until Ronda got in there, or oh gosh, what's the Armenian fighter that was really good for a while? That was a judo player. And people, anyway, I can't think of his name right now, but people go, oh, that judo stuff won't work. And then they get a hip toss and go flying.
Right.
Or they say,
Manny Gambarian.
Yeah. Well, that's one of them. Yeah, he was incredible. I saw him blow out his shoulder one time in a fight, though. Like he dropped it out of its socket. That wasn't cool. So all these things matter. It all helps. Every time someone says, oh, that doesn't work, and then you see this crazy highlight reel, and you're like, okay, that was awesome.
Totally.
Right? And those are some of the best things that we see. Or you see a really cool matchup. What's the is she Polish? I can't remember. One of the ladies that's like flyweight or something like that. Joanna. She has black belts in karate and taekwondo and a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. And her Muay Thai is obviously good too, but what a crazy, cool, diverse skill set, right?
Totally.
But what can we learn from all these people? So it's traditional and modern. It's stand-up and it's grappling. It's strength and conditioning, but it's restoration. It's massage therapy. It's foam roller. And then what can you learn from some of these strong people that do like strongman stuff?
Right.
Right, like lifting kegs and moving barrels and battling ropes. But then you look at all this stuff and you're like, man, at the end of the week, I'm fried. There's no way I can do all this stuff. And the good news is you don't have to. But there is a way, there's a system, there's a philosophy and an ideology to how to put it together so you don't overtrain. You're very well-rounded. You honor and respect all the different things because, I personally have trained in 7 different martial arts, and I'm far from super good in all of them, right? Although I've done it for a long time, there's always someone better than you at all this stuff. Yeah. But I've been beat up or knocked out or choked out by every style there is, and so I know that there's some merit in all of them. And it's when we have a closed mind and say, oh, that doesn't work, or that'll never work. Not everything works in every situation, and not everything is adapted for every person. But when you honor and respect all these different things and figure out, you know what? I like this punching combination from Western boxing, and it works well with this strength and conditioning system I'm using with resistance tubes. And then I can do this shadow boxing drill too, and do that as a circuit. Now that works well for me, and I like that.
Right.
And then as an example, a lot of people go, man, I'd like to kick, but I've been a grappler my whole life. My hips are really, really tight, and I have a super low base, and it's just who I am. But I'd like to kick. And so we bring in people who are Taekwondo experts to teach hip mobility. Who has more crazy hip mobility and dexterity than a Taekwondo practitioner? Well, what if you learn that dexterity, but then learn the power of Muay Thai?
Right.
Now you're good.
Yeah.
And so it's honor and respect of everything, and not saying, oh, that's stupid, that's dumb, I don't want to do it, those guys suck, or whatever. That's just, to me, that's what's dumb.
Yeah, definitely.
So respect everyone and say, you know what, that's really cool. How can I learn a little bit from that to add to my arsenal? And if you look at the history of the UFC, which, since Hoist brought all this to us and put it on the map, there's been an incredible evolution. And now you're starting to see more athleticism, in part to Funk Roberts. in the UFC and in all different martial arts, you see more athleticism. You're seeing more of a blend of traditional techniques. Like before, a guy would try to do like a hook kick or a wheel kick, or he'd try some technique and he had no ground game. He'd get dumped and choked out, which would make sense.
Right.
But now the guys have such good sprawl and such good ground game that they can throw that stuff, because if they get dumped, they're going to come back up, probably.
Totally. I think, and that's what blows me away about how you put this MMACA, the certification course together, because like if you go down the lessons, you start off with just the science of conditioning, and then you go through the cool thing I liked about it was, you go through the nervous system, skeletal system, the kinesiology portion of it, your muscle anatomy, so all the energy systems, how to assess, cardiovascular stuff, biomechanics. You touch on, you don't touch, you go through nutrition, of course.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
And then, there's also the safety portion of it, the flexibility, and then you have drills. But the thing is, in 2010, there weren't a lot of coaches out there, trainers, strength and conditioning coaches out there that had evolved, because the sport hadn't evolved to the point where you're going to need people were still just doing the whatever their strength and conditioning they used to do in their own sport. They, if I was a wrestler and then I started MMA, I would be still doing the wrestling workouts. Or if I was a Muay Thai fighter and I started MMA, I'd still be doing like a lot of the cardio and calisthenic stuff. But this taught me, and from back in 2010, it kind of put me like in the forefront, because now I'm like, oh well, guys. And I mean, I already knew that you had to train, you had to train differently, but this like solidified everything. It gave me more of a foundation. So okay, there's a science and the system behind all of this that we need to start getting out there. And there's still many coaches out there that still train the old way and still need to use something like this. But the fact that you guys were able to like foresee it, that's what blows me away.
Well, I think it's because we were open-minded to learn from all different people. And that's for me, for my personal and professional career, for what has allowed me to do all the crazy things that you mentioned at the beginning of the show. Yeah. It's because I know that I don't know, and I know there's someone who does know. Right. And my superpower is figuring out who's really awesome and putting them all together to create something amazing. Just, we talked about, well, I was just trying to think of how to describe this. A lot of people do the MMA conditioning coach certification because they own a traditional martial arts school and they feel like they may be missing out and they need to learn some conditioning and they want to bring people in. Totally. Some people are professional fighters or former professional fighters and they want a new revenue stream and they want to learn the science. Yeah. Other times they're fitness professionals, personal trainers, but they know that even with a good personal trainer certification, this is very, very different. Totally. So and then some people do this just because they want a really, really comprehensive program. Yes. But just to share with you some of the people that our coaches have trained, our staff, our faculty members and our coaches, Alexander Gustafson, Michael Bisping, Showtime Pettis, actually both Pettis brothers, Tyron Woodley, Chris Cyborg, Dominic Cruz, Ross Pearson, Chris Lieben, Ed Herman, Yushin Okami, Phil Davis, Brandon Vera, Michael Chandler, Michael Guyman, there's Mark Hunt, Mike Quick-Swick,
James McSweeney.
Yeah, but James McSweeney, we got to add that one in there. Remind me. Yeah. Bob Sapp. There's several other ones here as well. Oh, and another person I just saw fight last night in a replay was Jessica Penne. She's trained by one of our coaches as well.
Alliance.
It goes on and on and on. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the cool thing about and those are just like that. Those are just the UFC fighter or the professional fighters, right? That's not even all the other I can go down a list of all the other champions in different sports that have used my training, which I got from you. You know what I mean? you know, in Muay Thai, like I've trained Muay Thai world champions. I've trained Jiu-Jitsu world ADCC champions. Like I've used my workouts, you know, glory champions, glory fighters, like in all, like literally every single organization there is. Even in NCAA wrestling, there's people who've used my workouts, which, you know, again,
awesome.
Are from here. It's crazy. So it's not even just that, but yeah, I think what you touched on is being open-minded. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. Sorry. The other thing about this was when I was going through it, it was like an amalgamation of the best people for each lesson. So like,
yeah,
you know,
exactly
I had you know, Doug Ball, I always get his name wrong, man.
Balzerini,
you know, who used to train at, you know, was a strength and conditioning coach at Alliance, you know, so Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, Doug's a solid dude.
You know, he taught something, and then, you know, someone else taught something in the nutrition. Like, there was always someone in all the drills that were happening, a drill from a Muay Thai person, a drill from a striking coach, a drill from a Jiu-Jitsu, you know, black belt. Like, it's like every single thing that you went through, it was like, oh, okay, I got someone else who's like a master or an expert or, you know, a champion teaching you. So now, it's like going to, like, you know, the X-Men, you know, you go to the X-Men, whatever that school is.
That's exactly what it is.
Different X-Men coming in and like teaching you to be the ultimate
like the Hall of
coach.
Justice.
Exactly.
Yes,
that's what it was. That's why it's so incredible.
Well, you know, it's that, but I want to emphasize too. You know, we have people like our vice president Scott Gaines. He's a professor of biomechanics. He's also a third degree in a like Hapkido or Hwarangdo. I'm trying to remember what it is. A traditional art, but he's a professor of biomechanics as well, and he's a vice president of NESTA and the MMA Conditioning Association. We also have Anthony Carey, who is like the top corrective exercise expert in America, teaching you how to basically keep your body functioning and moving properly, because we beat the hell out of it sometimes. So we, you know, like how do you bring all that in? We had influence from Navy SEALs and some of the Navy SEAL training. An athletic trainer who was a head athletic trainer for the testing and oversight for the, you know, National Board of Examiners for athletic trainers, not personal trainers, but athletic training, you know, like on the sports field. And Dr. Chris Moore, who's a exercise physiologist and registered dietitian, and you know, he actually wrote the diet stuff for the Windsor Pilates program, and also LL Cool J's last book in the nutrition. He did.
Oh yeah.
He did that stuff for him too.
That's awesome.
So I mean, I'm just giving you some of his background. He's a clinician. He's a best-selling author. He's a adjunct professor, and he's also done the Ironman triathlon. So we're not, but we took in a lot of that knowledge from endurance sports too.
Right.
But the parts that apply and matter most.
Yes.
Like, are we teaching you how to swim, you know, and get ready for the Ironman? No. But we do have some water fitness training in there from the people who actually helped develop it that BJ Penn used to use in his training program.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, and I saw the water stuff in there.
Yep. I was there when they were putting all that together. He was when he was working with Marv Marinovich.
Right. Oh my God.
We all got together and filmed a bunch of stuff here in Southern California.
With Marinovich?
Yeah, no, we've known each other.
The system, the guy who uses system.
Well, Marinovich helped develop a lot of the stuff for BJ, but he implemented a lot of the water fitness stuff from our program, which was a joint venture with Aqualogics.
Right.
And so a lot of that material is now inside the inner circle. Yeah.
That's
it's
incredible.
It's great stuff. And it's a good recovery workout, but you can do metabolic conditioning in the water without beating the hell out of your body.
Oh, I know. Like we put together, I partnered with a coach who coaches at Tiger Muay Thai, Coach Woody, and we put together a pool workout program, and because that's something that he uses with all of his fighters. I mean, he trains UFC fighters, high level fighters, and one of the, you know, every week they go to the pool, and it's a full on you know, recovery, but there is some metabolic training in there, and it's amazing. I love the fact that, and that's the thing, like, you know, guys like, you know, Coach Woody and other people, you know, understand that it's not just beat the hell out of the fighter. It's, we need to focus on, you know, safety and injury prevention and you know, recovery and, you know,
you know, it's
strength.
This is an important thing too, because you know, it would be awesome if we were in our 20s or even our 30s, Funk, but that's not the case.
No.
And so we have to train smarter. I'm closer to 50 than anything, right?
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, you too. Okay, all right. So you feel me?
Yeah.
So
man.
our training has to be smarter. But what's crazy is because I've had the opportunity to learn from all these incredibly smart people, and my background is in exercise science and education and Eastern philosophy, all the different things I've put together as well. I've learned to maintain good health and mobility, and I see a lot of guys that still train yesterday I did Krav Maga.
Right.
And there's guys in there 10 or 15 or 20 years younger than me, and I have more mobility. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And they're 170 and they're 10, 15, 20 years younger. How is this happening? And I look at how they warm up. I look at how they cool down. I ask them what they do on their off days, and they're jacking themselves up.
Totally.
And then I'm thinking, this is crazy. So I get in 20 minutes early and do more of a warm up before we do the official warm up. And then I do a cool down. And then the next day I'm doing foam roller, chiropractic, an easy walk, and taking my supplements.
Yeah.
And they go, what are they doing? They're going to the bar and getting hammered.
Totally.
And I'm thinking, dude, I'm 20 years older than you, and I just ran circles around you. And not, believe me, you guys, there's plenty of people who whoop my butt. I'm not delusional. But my point is, in this program, I'm thinking these guys are half my age. Why are they so screwed up? Because they're not doing what is necessary to maintain good health. They want to bang, and they want to tap people out, and then they're going to go into the drive-through and get some crappy food.
It's so funny you just said all that because
you can't do that.
No,
you can't.
It's amazing you just said all that because the last episode we talked about nutrition, and one of the things we really, it's like you've got it. Nutrition has to be like on par with your strength and conditioning, which should be on par with your skill training, of course, depending on what level you're at. But exactly like all that going out and putting shitty food and not taking care of your body. It even when you're younger, after you hit like 24, 25, things start to go down. Like when you're 20 and 19, unfortunately because our bodies are can metabolize a lot more. We don't even we can go to McDonald's and eat. I used to go to McDonald's and eat and then play a professional sport the next that day. Like that was my go-to meal was like fish fillet. I think it was like 2 fish fillets and fries, and then I'd play like that. But when I'm 19, I can do that. When I was 25, I had to start to change. When I was 26, it was a complete change. And I love that you said that. Like even the young guys, and that's the key. Like as a young fighter, you definitely have to start implementing nutrition, implementing the prehab stuff. Training smarter. So that you can prolong your career or just prolong your training so you can, like yourself, you're almost 50, but you're still doing Krav, you're still doing Muay Thai. I see you banging, like smashing pads. Here's
the other thing too, what has helped me, and again, this is for older people still want to train, they just don't want to get jacked up when they're older, right?
Right.
So for me, what has helped me is I do a different discipline each day of the week. Like Monday is Taekwondo, Tuesday is Muay Thai, Wednesday is Jiu-Jitsu, and Friday I'm doing Krav.
You still do that?
Yeah, I still do, but I only do like 20 minutes of strength training 4 days a week, but I just hit it really hard, and then I'll do like an easy, like today I'm going to go out for an easy bike ride, like 20 miles, but really chill.
Yeah. I
don't compete anymore. It's just for cardio.
Yeah.
But I don't beat the hell out of myself. But also by diversifying my training like that, I stimulate my body in a different way each day, and I don't overdo it. I'm not overtraining. And
you're still training every day.
I'm mentally fresh, yeah, and I'm actually better now than I was even 5 or 6 years ago, which is crazy. But and again, you guys, I'm not delusional. I know where the pecking order is because I train with some monsters.
I've seen you.
I train with some crazy monsters, and so you do get owned, and that's good because it keeps you honest. Yeah. But I'm still progressing at nearly 50, and it's because I'm not being nuts.
Yeah.
I'm being respectful of myself and my body and my age, and amazing that I've done all these different sports throughout my whole life, and I have very few injuries, very, very few. And I've never had a major injury. I've never had any surgeries, never.
That's amazing.
But it's because I'm conscientious and I take calculated risks.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's that's the key is being calculated. You know what I mean? And so like that. So now we're talking like as a fighter, but as a coach, like now as a trainer or as a coach who wants to get into this, you know, because again, like MMA and mixed martial arts and the evolution of people just doing other martial arts, like, you know, like jiu-jitsu, clubs are opening up everywhere here where I'm from, and I'm sure everywhere else. There's Muay Thai clubs, there's MMA clubs specifically as well, obviously opening up everywhere. And there's all these young cats that are going in there and wanting to fight or wanting to compete on a, you know, whatever level. But now that opens up the realm of them needing a lot of coaches. So before, people were doing like personal training. I want to be a personal trainer because, you know, I know that you can make a lot of money, or not a lot. Well, you can make money as a personal trainer. I can go to my local gym. But now you can be the strength. And when I say strength and conditioning coach, I'm not just narrowing it down to like, you know, I only train 5 fighters and these are my high level fighters. I'm talking about the person who runs the class, like the conditioning classes at the gyms, because there's always needs to be a fitness side of it. But you're not gonna, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like you have to run, you know, the fitness class, the bodyweight training, or doing like station works and stuff. But you have to also understand the whole MMA conditioning science if you want to do something like that, and if you want to like expand. Because if you go into an MMA gym and go, okay, look, I want to be your strength and conditioning coach, and I want to like run your classes because I understand the science behind it. Plus, I'll train some of your fighters who, you know, are competing. So now you can be that one-stop shop for a gym by taking a course like this. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah. And that's, you know, we talked about like training all these UFC champions and all this kind of stuff. You guys, the reality is that's awesome. Yep. It's an honor, but that's very far and few between. You make a lot more money, and you can help a lot more people by helping them get in great shape. And if they never want to step in the ring, go on the mat, compete, or you know, whatever. Yeah. It's the people, when people do the best with the MMA Conditioning Coach Certification, they own their own business, they work at a gym, or they make educational programs, or videos and stuff like that. And they serve the masses who want a martial arts fitness and conditioning type of workout, but don't necessarily want to get punched in the face.
Totally.
And those are the people who have more money, because let's be honest, if we're really, really transparent, the vast majority of competitive martial artists, if that is their primary focus and they're trying to make it to the big show, most of them are kind of broke.
Oh yeah, they got no money.
And it's just a fact, and totally. It's sad, and it's unfortunate, and it's true.
Yes.
So although those people are fun to work with and you learn a lot, and it will test you in many different ways, that's not your bread and butter.
No,
and an example is that most most martial arts gyms make the vast majority of their money in cardio kickboxing classes.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't do your other arts, because that's your art, that's your thing. But the reason is because not everyone wants to get punched in the face, but they want to tell their friends, "Hey, man, I'm doing MMA fitness." Oh, that sounds like fun. You watch the UFC? Yeah, you know they. It's you get what I'm saying. Like,
100%.
People get super excited about it. They may not have an in-depth knowledge, but they like it and they like to participate in it. And you know, when Ronda was at the top, it was really interesting. I remember going over to my brother's house. We got the fights, and it was, I think it was when she fought. Oh, it was before she lost to Holly. Okay. And it was really interesting, Funk. I don't know if I ever told you this, but all the girls all the like we're all in our 40s, 30s, 40s, and 50s in the group, and there's a bunch of young girls, and they knew that Ronda was going to fight, and all the girls got down in front of all the couches in the living room and all sat in front of the big screen to watch Ronda, and they all knew who she was, and they all thought it was great. And now my niece wants to learn MMA, and she's 14. Exactly. But it was because of Ronda, and so it's transcended generations, and now obviously both genders, which I think is awesome. And quick side note, some of the women's fights are way better than the dudes.
100%.
Way better.
100%.
Way better. It was the smartest thing in the world, adding a women's division to the UFC. Those women are amazing.
Incredible.
So it's now embedded in our culture. And there was a study done at one time, and I don't know when it was done or how it was done or how it's validated now. But in the States, MMA, or the UFC in particular, I believe, is the fourth most popular sport behind football, baseball, and basketball. Now, you being a Canadian, you're thinking, where the hell's hockey? But for the U.S.
Not in the U.S. No, hockey. I know we know hockey in the U.S.
Yeah.
Is not
so, but
close.
no, it's still popular. And so that's going to, but UFC, I believe, is number 4 now behind football, baseball, and basketball. And by the way, on a quick side note, since you love hockey, we now have a pro hockey team
in Vegas.
I think it's called the Knights.
What are they called?
The Knights.
What? Why? Why the Vegas Knights? What does that have to do with Vegas?
No, it's not like nighttime. It's like K with a K.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know why Vegas Knights, like the Vegas Gamblers.
I can't even remember their name, but anyway, they play at the same T-Mobile Arena that they do all the UFC at. Just so you guys know, if you're curious, if you want to come into town.
Yeah, nice. You could stay with you, right? In your condo.
Exactly. I'll just have everyone over. My wife won't care.
Nice. That's like I said, the MMA, the growth of MMA, the growth of all these sports allows trainers now another option. Like another. I don't just have to be a personal trainer. And here's the other thing about the certification that I love. Like, when you go to your personal training certification, you learn about the nervous system, the skeletal system, the muscular anatomy. Like, you have to go through all that stuff. And the fact that this course had that in it with Scott, who is an incredible teacher.
Oh, he is an incredible teacher.
Yeah.
He nerds out on that stuff so awesome, but he's phenomenal.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, there's like 70 hours of video. Like, so this is
7-0.
Yeah, 7-0. That's why I like there's another thing I want to talk about after this, but like, yeah, there's 70 hours. So like you can read if you want, and then there's the sheets there, but yeah, there's the videos too. So like when the fact that now I know, like, if I never did a personal training course ever, but I know that, oh, okay, I can do this course and I have everything that a personal trainer will have and more. You know what I mean? Like, I have all the skeletal stuff and all the anatomy stuff. Now I'm learning the biomechanics stuff, but now I'm learning the strength and conditioning and everything else that goes around it. Even the sports psychology portion of it, like that's
yeah,
insane.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, the sports psychology also. Yeah, that's true.
In the same, like, that's what I love about this course. It's like, it's something that you're going to learn, and then you can take it to different levels. You can take it to different things too. Like, you're learning business side of it. Okay, now that I have all this, how can I use this as a business? Well, there's a business freaking lesson in it to teach you how you can, monetize this. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I'm 25, 22, 21 years old, and I love mixed martial arts, but I know, okay, well, maybe I want to go in like more the training side, like I can still train mixed martial arts, but I also want to be a trainer. Well, this is the course you're doing. There's no other course out there that's out there. And that's the one thing I loved about this was that, as a personal trainer, you don't need to have the personal trainer background in order to do this course.
Right. Nor do you have to be a world-class martial artist, because you're doing the fitness and conditioning. You're not teaching boxing combinations. You're not teaching how to set up an omoplata. It's right. Different. So you don't. If you have that, awesome. It will serve you, but it's not necessary.
But on that note, you still do have striking drills, boxing drills.
Yes, that's
that's the
true.
Cool thing about it. You still have those in there. Jiu-jitsu warm-ups, like, oh man, this is insane. I love it. Listen, Tell me about some of the. You guys are going to be blown away when you hear some of the actual coaches, people who coach UFC fighters and who have blown up their businesses, who have gone through the MMACA. We were talking about this the other day.
Yeah. So Dolce.
Mike Dolce.
Yeah.
Jason C. Brown.
Dolce, before he made UFC Fit, he's a graduate of this program.
Incredible.
And he has, and to give him credit, he had a lot of other skill, and he had some other training and certification as well. I'm not saying this is the one and done, because
no, totally.
The dude's very good.
Yeah.
But he's a graduate. And Jason C. Brown, kettlebell guy. Yeah, he's a graduate. And then Doug Balzerini is a graduate and also a contributing a staff member as well. And he was the head strength coach down at Alliance, which if you watched any UFC, that's one of the hotbeds of activity and incredible fighters out of San Diego.
Phil Davis, Dominic
Phil
Cruz.
Davis. Yep.
Gustafson, Penne.
Penne actually worked with she's worked with a lot of different people throughout Orange County, because she's also here in Huntington Beach.
Okay.
But Cory Beasley
Cory
is one of our coaches and contributors as well.
Cory's amazing. I'm going to have him on the show.
Yeah, and he actually, it's crazy. Cory's been a friend of mine for years. We met in a mastermind down in San Diego years ago. We became good buddies. We actually have another project coming out together.
Good.
So he's as an example of what you can do. Now he's had gyms and he's done all sorts of stuff, and he has websites and he does consulting and things. But he's training UFC fighters out of a garage gym.
Yeah. Uncle
He's
Creepy.
killing it out of his garage. Yeah. Uncle Creepy. It's funny. Yeah, I actually trained at a private gym also in Orange County with Bryce Krause, our Muay Thai expert, 7-time national champion. And was it 2 weeks ago, there was in the gym there was Uncle Creepy, Ian McCall, TJ Dillashaw, Chris Cyborg, Michael Bisping, and I'm trying, and then Jason Perillo was there doing boxing with Chris, getting her ready for her fight. Man, she looked good.
Yeah, man. She's got a championship fight coming up actually now. Megan Anderson.
Yeah, for 145. She's gonna fight for the belt.
Yeah.
I've never seen her look this good. I'm buddies with her and her boyfriend Ray Elby.
Ray, yes.
Ray's a great guy.
Ray's
really
amazing, man.
You said you know him from Tiger.
I do. My first time at Tiger, man, Ray took care of me. He's amazing. And the other times, and then I've actually helped Ray when he needed to recover. He used some of my workouts. Ray's amazing. He's incredible. Like I couldn't be happier for.
But just a cool dude too.
Yeah, like super cool, man.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, what I was saying is, all those people were working with our coaches at the Ruka private gym. It's not open to the public.
Oh.
They work in there, and my mind spaced out on some of the other coaches that were there. But there's a guy who was a silver or bronze medalist, freestyle wrestling in the Olympics, and he is working on everyone's coach wrestling that day.
Right.
And they did a small group. And then there's a couple. What's the pretty girl from Hawaii that fights at like probably 118 or 120? Starts with a K.
Kaylin.
Kaylin
or something.
Yeah, Kaylin. Yeah, and then her boyfriend comes in there too, Keanu, who's a pro surfer who actually just beat Kelly Slater in some world competition.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, like, and everyone's just cool. It's just such a neat thing to be there. And I was just talking to Duke Rufus 3 days ago, and we were talking about. Duke was saying that he admires some of the work that Bang Ludwig does.
Yes.
And Bang worked with TJ Dillashaw with doing like some of their striking warm-up sequences. And it was interesting because Duke was telling me about this. And some of the stuff he does is almost like a karate kata. and some of his warm-ups. You know, like if you guys are familiar with karate, the kata is the form, right? It's the sequence of movements with the breathing, and it's like, you know, really, it's not like shadow boxing where it flows, but it's real deliberate. It's very deliberate. But I was watching Dillashaw warm up, and he was doing like Muay Thai and Western boxing movements, but in the style of a karate kata. It was really interesting. I'm like, I've never seen that before, but it's really cool. And so I've been trying it, and I actually really like it because it's the movement that you know works for Muay Thai and boxing, but you do it very deliberate. So when you step into each stance, when you exhale, when you turn over your knuckles or whatever it is, you do hip extension to reach the you know, your knee further for like a Muay Thai knee to the solar plexus. You pause and you're able to assess at that moment where you're at. Sometimes when you go real fast with shadow boxing or whatever, you're like, yeah, I just kind of float in and out of it. But it doesn't, what I always say is it doesn't give your brain time to unravel the mystery.
Right.
You need to pause and slow down. And I started doing that really slow like that when I was doing Kung Fu years ago. And it's just, and you know, there's some application, not all of it works, obviously, but it's the way of breathing and moving and being very diligent with each thing, and then you flow it together later.
Right.
It's just, it's
breaking
just
it
another
down, pretty much breaking each
you're
movement
breaking it down, but you break it down, but you do it in a sequence as it's broken down.
Totally.
And then you flow from one to the other, but everything is super deliberate, and the breathing is exact, so you know exactly when to exert, and then you bring it together full circle. But anyway, it was just really interesting. Duke was telling me about it, and I said, oh yeah, I actually saw him do that.
Right.
Which brings me to another point. Duke Rufus, our mutual friend, currently his team is ranked #1 in the world for MMA.
Like
in a ranking system, and I forget who's ranking,
I saw that.
But Rufus Sport is #1 in the world, and to give you some contrast on that, we all know how good Greg Jackson is.
Yes,
the superstar. He's like 7th or lower.
I think he's even lower, but.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so just imagine how good Rufus Sport and Duke is if Greg Jackson's below 7th ranked for his team, because Greg Jackson's awesome.
Yeah, totally. But I think also that has to do with the amount of fights the amount of fights that they've had. So like Greg Jackson has 5 times more fights his fighters have. So a lot of the and so when you have that many fights, you're gonna have a lot more losses. I saw like the point breakdown system, where for a loss it's like -5, but for a win it's or something like that. So that is kind of scaled because he has a lot. But the fact that Duke's, Rufus Sport, which is a definitely a gym of champions.
Absolutely.
But it's funny, we hear all of these great gyms, AKA, American Top Team, all these Alliance, all these amazing gyms, but a lot of those gyms, are built on the fitness side of it. You know what I mean? Like it's their fitness, it's their non-fighters who help them, help that gym continue to go so that their fighters can train. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, because if they don't have the fitness, the conditioning down, their fighters get injured more and they're not going to perform as well. That's absolutely true.
But I mean, I'm just also talking about it's a regular folks that come in just to train. Like when I went to Boss Rutan's gym, they have fighters there, but it's the regular classes, the boot camp classes, the bag hitting classes, the trainer, like the regular people who can still use it. Like same with Alpha Male. I think Alpha Male's the same way too. Like they have just regular fitness classes too that regular people can go in and use.
Well, that's what pays the bread, and that's the bread and butter that makes it survive too.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly where I'm going at with that.
Yeah. You guys, you want to work with elite athletes because it's interesting and the work ethic's going to be there. That's fascinating.
Totally.
But you also need to put food on the table, take care of your family, and put gas in the tank.
Yeah.
And that comes from people who actually have the money to pay you, and generally, I'm generalizing, that's from people 28 to 48 years old who want a great workout, who love martial arts, don't want to get an elbow to the cheek, don't want to get subbed out with a rear naked choke, and just want to have fun
and train like a fighter.
Train like a fighter and be appropriately challenged, and then they can talk about it to their friends, so it's a big damn deal. Honestly, that's it.
Yeah, and you don't want to be trained by Jim Johnson, who has just got his personal training, certification from the local cert place, and has been doing traditional buys and tries and back and shoulders, because they have no clue about how to put together a system that, again, doesn't have to be for fighters, but when you have a class, like, okay, I'm gonna, like, I know these are some of the cool exercises, but are gonna actually work and get people results. Plus they're gonna have fun, because I have an understanding of the system behind conditioning for MMA, for martial arts, right? Because listen, when we talk about the MMA conditioning coach, obviously there's other strength and conditioning certifications out there that are specific for athletes, and they're amazing, they're incredible, but this one is specific for MMA and martial arts, specific. So when you're learning, although you're learning, general stuff with the anatomy and all that stuff, then you dive into like actual, how is this helping your fighters? How is this helping? That's what I love about this.
I want longevity in the sport too, because if you don't take care of your athletes and everyone's injured and they get out, the sport dies and your income dies. And the only people who make money are the people in the medical industry, because they're trying to fix
everyone else,
the broken athletes. But if you're really smart about it and diligent, you can have a very, very long career. And because I have a background first in traditional martial arts before I did the modern martial arts, I always go back to that as an example, because, people either love or hate it. I get that. And sometimes it's just dumb. Like when people are like, oh, this sucks and this is stupid and this one doesn't work. Yeah. That's not the point. That's not the point. People want to do it and they have fun and they get a workout and they don't want to fight in the UFC. Who cares? Let them do it.
Exactly. 100%. Thank you.
It doesn't matter. But the point also is that, a lot of these, like a karate school, can have 500 students and the instructor's making $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Okay. So who's dumb? I don't know, not that dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he's a really good Shotokan instructor and he's got great students and they want to compete in karate. And that's their thing. They don't care that they don't know how to defend a double leg, because their sport is karate and it's point sparring. They don't care. So it doesn't matter like, oh, it's this and that. And by the way, you'll learn a lot from them, because there are some really good guys that come from Shotokan that end up in the UFC.
Right.
You know what? I did it. This is a sidebar, but I found it interesting.
Yeah.
I believe, and some of this is because in the United States, at least, most kids do Taekwondo.
Right.
But I believe there are like twice as many Taekwondo black belts in the UFC that there are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. Now, one reason is because it takes much longer to get a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Sure. I understand.
Sure.
But I believe that there's actually twice as many. But if you look at Pettis is a third degree. Both he and his brother are third degree black belts in Taekwondo. Machida is a black belt, and I think he's third or fourth degree in the Machida style of karate, which is like an Okinawan, very hard external style. Obviously, you can see that low bladed stance. But I did a post on our fan page of all the different practitioners in the UFC that have Taekwondo or karate black belts. And it's a lot of really, really top-notch guys come from that background. But they don't talk about it because they learn Muay Thai because it's very important. Muay Thai is brutal and awesome.
They love it.
But a lot of the guys, the reason they're good is because they have that foundation in a traditional art. And so why I don't understand. What frustrates me is why people go, oh, that's dumb, or this doesn't work, or that's not right, until you get smacked with something like that. But I think that what's important too, we'll talk about Mayweather and God in a second. But what happened is the UFC took off, boxing faded, and boxing had some issues because of ethics and promotion bias and all that kind of stuff, and I get that. I understand the frustration. But I've been interested in boxing again because I've been doing it more myself as well, and I realize how good a good boxer is.
Totally.
And then when you see the boxing in the UFC, and there's some guys that are good, but a lot of them are very subpar boxers. And so for a long time, people go, "Oh, boxing doesn't work, and it's not this, and it's not. You don't need it, and you just a good boxer is gonna knock you in the next week."
Yeah.
And if they can eat a leg kick and they get off a 1-2 combo before you do, you're screwed.
That's right.
They're gonna beat you to the punch. They're gonna defend, and they're gonna get in and out and bob and weave, and you might get smacked really good.
Yeah.
So this goes back to the respect. For a long time, boxing didn't get the respect necessary, but you know what changed it is when GSP fought Koscheck.
Koscheck, yes.
I'm sorry, Koscheck. Jeez.
Yeah, Koscheck, yep.
Thank you. Too many names here we're talking about.
Yeah.
And he basically jabbed him and gave him an orbital blowout fracture. And he
jabbed the shit out of him.
He jabbed the shit out of him for was it 3 or 5 rounds? I don't remember.
5 rounds.
Oh yeah, Koscheck he was a mess.
Yep.
It was a mess, and GSP won that fight with a jab.
Totally.
And everyone says, you know what? And then I can hear Rogan again too. He says, that is the most underutilized tool in the UFC. And then what happened afterwards? Everyone started doing boxing.
Immediately after that, I even did.
Yeah, but then you see when Vitor got that rising front kick from
Anderson Silva.
And then Machida did one different. It's a slightly different technique. That was called the Stepstool Kick, because if you look at it, the first leg comes up and the second one comes higher, like he's stepping on a stool. That's a karate technique. So it's called the Stepstool Kick.
Okay.
The other one from Anderson Silva was a rising front kick from the rear leg. It's like a teep, but use the ball.
Like
but it comes up. The knee comes up higher first, and it's more of an extension of the knee. It's different technique. But as soon as you saw those techniques, then everyone goes, you know what? You can actually split the guard with a rising front kick. Well, you can use it from a rear leg or a front leg. But before that, people go, "Oh, that stuff doesn't work." And then now you see people doing it all the time and getting their grill smacked.
Yeah.
But it's because they opened their mind. We can go back to the 4-minute mile. People didn't think it was feasible. Now they know it is. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same. So open your mind, open your heart, open your eyes
to everything, like to all training. Like for instance, I like you talked about at the beginning, like for me, there's a when it comes to strength and conditioning, there's a time and place for specific types of strength and conditioning. Like I wouldn't go in and just do Olympic lifting and that's all you're doing, because there's too much technique you have to learn for Olympic lifting, so you're taking too much time away from the athlete who needs to actually concentrate on their skill training or whatever.
And if you do the technique wrong, you can jack yourself up.
Yeah, if you do it exactly. But so I think there's a time and place for adding the Olympic lift. I wouldn't just do that. There's a time and place for, sprint training. I wouldn't just do that. There's a time and place for long runs. There's a time and place for everything. Like, not one thing is going to work. So you need to open your mind to understanding that, because I do have a lot of people who will just do Olympic lifting, or will just do, hypertrophy training, which still I don't even know why, but I think it's definitely changing. Or we'll, you know what I mean? Like, and that could be, a system, or that could be because they just don't know any better. But you need to like, when it comes to, just like in actual technique and MMA, you need to open your mind and understand that you can use kettlebells, you can use, battle ropes, you can use, but there's a time and place. Like what you see on UFC Countdown when they're doing like battle ropes and smashing tires, that's not how you're doing it every day.
You can't. You metabolically will blow up. And some days, and it's hard to get younger athletes to do this, but I wish they I just want to shake them just for a minute and to say, please listen to the old dude. I'm trying to help you. So you need to have like one day a week, or maybe even if it's one day every other week, but at least start somewhere and do a rest and recuperation day.
One day.
And it's hard because they just want to go. I remember this one athlete, he's a phenomenal fighter. He's probably like two wins out of the UFC right now.
Mm-hmm.
Local guy here in Southern California. And I was like, dude, you gotta chill out. And he goes, man, I'm like a puppy. You gotta wear me down. And I'm like, well, and then he's one of these guys that his hips and his back are so jacked up he can't do a head kick because he's so, and he's 24.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, dude, like come on.
It catches up though. I'm telling you, it catches up because I got a guy at my gym who, when he started, Muay Thai, and he was really gung ho. And I think the mentality is that if they feel like they're missing something, they're not getting better, and they even feel like they need to get in every day, or else they're not gonna get better. Like if they miss a day, then they're gonna go backwards, which is totally not true. But this kid, when he first started telling me like, oh yeah, I'm running every day, and I'm doing pads every day, and this and that every day. I'm like, dude, you need to like take at least one day, to don't do anything. He's like, what? No, I can't, man, because then I won't be able to do this and that. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you. Then, like literally a month, 6 weeks later, injuries to the ankle, injuries to the elbow, injuries to the shoulder. He was on, and he obviously his mood had totally changed. Like he was just so upset and like stressed out. And
you guys having that mental challenge like that is a sign of overtraining.
Yes,
that is, and that's what you learn. Some of the stuff you learn in the injury prevention, but also the sports psychology, is what are those
signs, emotional
signs, psychological signs of physical ailments that are pending, and that's also part of the training.
So,
but I want to go back to what I was saying a second ago, Funk, because for me, like again, closer to 50 than any other big birthday coming up, and I still train intelligently, but I train 6 days a week, but I have two or three of those days are moderate to easy,
Right.
But I'm still improving. That's the crazy part, because it's very specific and diligent, and my body still functions like I'm in my 20s or maybe my early 30s.
Right.
But what I do, and I'm going to invite people to consider doing this, is once a week or once every other week, you need to have like a rest recovery day, and like seriously, I'll do like foam roller, gentle yoga, meditation, take a nap, steam, sauna, jacuzzi, green tea, and then I'm even down for the pedicure and having a foot massage, because your feet get jacked up, you guys.
Man,
like look at most of the dudes' feet. They're nasty.
My feet are disgusting, and my wife always tells me.
Like, yeah, you got to take care of your feet. Like it literally is the foundation. Everything you do, you drive from your feet, right?
That's right.
So what if your feet are totally jacked up? It's amazing to have someone take care of your feet. Just go treat yourself. Your lady will like it. You can treat your lady. That can be like a date day.
That's what we do.
As part of it, like do like this half spa date recovery. Like have someone take care of your feet, steam, sauna, jacuzzi, foam roller, yoga class, meditation, green tea.
Guys, listen to John. Listen to John. Listen to Dr. John Spencer Ellis. He's preaching here, and he's preaching the truth, because I love that one day of just like, it's pure rehab day.
It's awesome.
Recovery day.
It's awesome. Yeah, and look, it's not for everyone, but that's the day you want to enjoy a good glass of wine. Then do it. If it's not your thing and that you're opposed to that, or you just don't, I respect that. But I'm saying if you're going to, and I'm just saying because it will probably help you relax a little bit more. Just chill out. Have a day where you do all that, and that might be the day where you try to have some sort of sabbatical from your electronic devices as well, which is tough. I get it, but it will allow everything to rest, restore, recover, recharge, and you're gonna feel like a freaking rock star when you get back to your training. Yeah,
you're going to come back like 100%, man. You're going to come back 100%. What do you think, who do you think, just a quick question, who do you think the best conditioned athletes in the UFC are right now?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Like
maybe top 3.
I would say Dillashaw.
Yeah, okay.
Because I've seen him in person training, and he's always shredded, and
Yeah.
he's so athletic.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's chiseled out of stone.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not just aesthetically he looks like a rock star. The way he moves is amazing.
Yeah.
So I would have to say Dillashaw has got to be way, way up there. Cub Swanson is also incredibly, and like he's in his early mid-30s too, not a super young fighter anymore. He's very athletic, really, really athletic. And then Holloway, I mean, you know what's funny? He doesn't have the typical athletic build,
Right.
but his movement is very, very good. And you guys notice what he does too. What makes him good besides he's tough as nails? Look at how dynamic he is. Look at the mobility he has. And he also is throwing techniques that a lot of people don't see. Spinning back fist, jumping, spinning side kick, wheel kicks, weird combinations, bridging the distance, getting in and out. That's because he's open-minded to learning things that are not traditional wrestling takedown, go to the jiu-jitsu sub, and traditional Muay Thai stance. All that's great. Obviously, it's proven over time. It works. There's no doubt. But why is he such a puzzle to figure out? Because he can bridge those distances and fight at all the different ranges, which other people can't do. So he can cover more ground. And if someone is giving him pressure, he can back off. If someone wants to fight at a closer distance, he can come inside. If people are only used to fighting guys who do Muay Thai, then he'll throw in techniques that they don't see when they only train with guys that do Muay Thai.
Yeah.
It's not that it has more power, because it generally doesn't, but it comes from such weird angles you don't know how to get ready for it.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
And that's all to be able to do a lot of that stuff. Obviously, technique is king, but you know, after a while, it's going to be the way your body is conditioned to being able to do a lot of that spinning stuff and a lot of the other stuff, and be able to move, you know, explosively, and be able to, you know, continue that movement. That's all the conditioning that happens on top of the technique, and that, like, those elite fighters, or just the fighters in general that you see do really well. Like for me, you know, my top conditioned fighters are like Joanna Champion, for sure. She's my number one, because her last fight when she fought, God, who did she just fight for the belt? The Brazilian woman, I can't even remember her name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Anyways, that to be able to, she moved nonstop for 5 rounds. She moved because she was being stalked. But during all that movement, she's throwing punches, she's kicking. She threw 1 million kicks, like 70 plus kicks. And, you know, kicking alone takes so much energy out of you. But she moved for the 5 rounds, side to side, kicks while she's moving back. Like, the amount of conditioning and cardio that you need to be able to do that, and explosiveness, is crazy. Frankie Edgar, same thing.
Frankie's all over the place.
Like,
well, you know who used to train Frankie Edward? God,
Martin Rooney.
I said Edwards. Oh. Apparently, I only can have so many names in my head.
Frankie Edwards.
One time, Frankie Edgar. Martin Rooney trained Frankie. I think when he was doing. How many years ago did he have the belt? Was it 4 years ago?
Oh yeah. Martin Rooney was there, man.
Yeah, he was cage side, but he trained. Yeah, he trained him for all that stuff.
Jim Miller.
I was just thinking about something that was interesting. So I've taught this class for Total MMA Studios, where I've trained in Southern California, and they're part of Brazilian Top Team. And I went in there and I've done what's called the kicking clinic. And the last one was a fundraiser for our buddy on our team who was recovering from cancer. But I went in there and taught this class, and most of these guys are pro MMA fighters, or high-level jiu-jitsu players that want to learn stand-up, and some of them had traditional martial arts backgrounds. But I went in and taught a class of how to connect and synthesize kicks from Muay Thai, karate, Krav Maga, Kung Fu, and Taekwondo. Did I say that? Anyway, so how to put that all together, not all in once, because it looked like you look spastic, right? Yeah. But how to seam it together. So if I do an inside leg kick from an orthodox stance, so imagine you're in an inside leg kick, but then you feign that and you turn and do a spinning side kick instead of like you place your foot after you test it with an inside leg kick and just make contact. Then you step down and turn into a spinning side kick. Right. That's one of them. Or how to go from a high kick to a spinning outside crescent kick. Right. Back and forth. And just to give you some examples. So you start with maybe a traditional one, but then the second one comes from, I'm sorry, you start with like something from Muay Thai, but then you go into a traditional art for the second technique because they have no idea where it's coming from. Right. But what's interesting is that the thing that held the people back from being able to do it was that their body was jacked up. Mm-hmm. It's not
when you say jacked up. What do you mean? Like muscular?
Well,
or what? Sore?
They the lumbar and thoracic region of their spine did not have enough rotational mobility.
I like that you said that.
Their adductors were too tight to where they couldn't do side kicks, because a side kick requires different flexibility than a front kick or like a head kick.
Yep.
And especially like a hook kick or something like that, that takes a long time to figure that one out, and you got to be really warmed up. But because that's tough. But man, you've seen Wonder Boy do that, and it's lights out.
Knock someone out.
That's crazy. He's so good. Oh my gosh. But there's another example of someone who has very, very, very high level karate who's a puzzle to try to figure out. You know. And he's pretty darn close to getting the title too. I mean, 2 attempts and he got about as close as you can get, right?
Yeah. He just didn't pull the trigger, I think, personally.
Yeah, but that's what's crazy. I think he's barely a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and he stayed standing against some of the best wrestlers in the game, which is nuts.
Yeah, totally.
It's insane. But anyway, but again, he's a puzzle. But his dexterity is a good example. You can't do that stuff if your body doesn't move. It doesn't matter. You go, oh yeah, I understand the mechanics of it. Okay, show me again, coach. Okay, I got it. And then your body goes,
exactly.
Right. Yeah. You can't do it. So that's what. See, here's the other thing too. I see a lot of people. This is what gets me, Funk. This is. I'll get off my high horse here. But I want to help people, but it makes me crazy because they don't. Sometimes they don't listen. People in general, you guys. There's always exceptions. Focus on the technique of what's being taught in martial arts. So let's just say that it's a jab, cross, hook, leg kick. You know, you're doing some sort of combo like that. They want to get it exact. They're really focused. Get the breathing. Make sure you get back to neutral stance. Rotate. Follow through. Get your hand back to guard. Whatever it is. And they're super conscientious about it. But for the warm-up, they're like, hey, you guys, what's going on? Yeah, well, and then you step on the mat with dirty feet, and then they're not paying attention, and their head's turned when it should be neutral because they're trying to create symmetry and the flexibility, and they're yapping, and you know, it's like, I know you're getting down to business, you're talking with your friends, you want to see them and stuff, but the warm-up, the conditioning, the flexibility needs to be handled with the exact same level of respect and attention to detail as the martial arts techniques themselves, and it's just not often done like that. And that's why people go, you know, I just can't quite do that, or that's not working, or I pulled a muscle in warm up. Well, that's because you turn your head and sneezed while you're talking to Bob when your head should have been straight and your knees should have been slightly bent and symmetrical.
Exactly.
That's why.
Yeah, I love that. You need to, as soon as you walk into the gym, as soon as you walk into that dojo, wherever the hell you're going, that your focus should be 100% laser focused on from the time you're taking off your shoes, you're putting on your clothes to train in, you're thinking about what you're about to do. The thought in your head is already there. You're not on your phone. Like you did that outside of, you know, when you're in your car or on the bus or, you know, walking. That's when you do your last bit of whatever. Then you say, okay, for the next hour or an hour and a half, I'm turning the phone off, gone, so no one can connect with me. So now the phone's out of your way. Then you get into the gym. You say your highs and hellos, but now you're starting to focus. Okay, this is what's about to happen. And then as you're taking off your clothes, as you get in, as you step onto the mat, when you're warming up, everything, you're laser focused on what you're about to do, what you need to work on, your movements like you were talking about, everything from the time you get in to the time you leave, even after you're done, you're still coming down. You're still.
I was gonna share something with you. I learned from Mark David, who does food and eating psychology. He's one of my mentors. There's a way to transition when you're eating. So, and basically you need to transition your energy, your intent, your focus from the outside to the inside. And my wife always kids me when I do this, but it works. But before I eat, like some people would pray, and that's cool if you want to do that. You can meditate, show gratitude towards the people who prepared your food. There's actually science that shows that improves digestion and bioavailability of the food. If you show gratitude for the people who prepared it for you, or just have gratitude in general, it changes how your body absorbs the nutrients. Insane and true.
100%, I believe that.
Yeah. So it's basically letting go of the outside and then turning inward. And I pause to allow also the enzymes, the blood, the energy, the focus to go in my mouth so I can create the right enzymes to digest the food, and also the blood to move to my stomach to help digest the food and get the maximum nutrient value. And that's why you have to pause and let go. But the same is true for when you do your training. Like when I get to the gym, or like when I, especially for like jiu-jitsu or whatever, when you bow to get on the mat, to me, it's not just a ritual of respect for my professors. It is letting go of the outside and transitioning to being an athlete for that duration of time. And then when I bow out, I can slowly transition back to being a civilian, right?
Yes.
Whatever you call it. But you have to let go. But what happens is people get to the mat or to the ring, whatever, too soon before class starts, and they don't have time to transition.
That's right.
And so they mentally haven't transitioned, and then they physically haven't transitioned, which also means you didn't get enough warm up, which also means that may not be paying attention because you didn't have time to let go, so you can pay attention. Your core temperature hasn't risen enough. And as we get older, we got to do more of that. That's just the way it is. I didn't create the rules, but I'm going to share them with you.
Yeah, I think even when you're younger, I mean, like for me, I learned that from when I played, even when I was playing volleyball. I played professional beach volleyball. I played indoor volleyball at the highest level. And when I was 14, that was what I was taught. Like my coach would, when you're 14, you're still crazy, right? But for some reason, after the 7th or 8th practice, it was ingrained. Like as soon as we walk through that door, it's business. Like even as a 14-year-old team, because we all had the same goal of being the best, and we all wanted to improve. So it right from there, and even at the end, we did our imagery and lying on the ground, and the lights were off, and he would talk and take us through our breathing. Like a 14-year-old is doing that? But yeah, we did it because we started to understand, shit, this works not only in the gym, but it works outside and in our lives, and just it's amazing that. So even as a young athlete, you need to start implementing the nutrition, the prehab, the strength and conditioning. You're taking your technique and skill training like super serious. Your warm up super serious. Turn off your phones before you step into that gym. Turn it off. Like get your last text out, get your last phone call out. Your focus should be on your coach, on your trainers, on your your training partners. Like that's the respect that you need to have when you walk into those gyms, and all your training, not just your jiu-jitsu class, but like when you go into the gym to chew your strength and conditioning, same thing applies. You you turn off your phone. You already have your workout written out, so that when you're changing your clothes, you're reading your workout. It's starting to ingrain in your head, just like you said. Like you kind of, when you're with the food, you're salivating, you're getting everything ready to digest. It's the same thing. Like you're reading what you're gonna do. You're kind of envisioning the tempo. Like, like it may sound like it's a long time, but as you continue to do that, it just becomes habit. And your workouts are gonna be better. Your training is gonna be better. Like you're gonna get better faster. 100%. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
There's something else, and people may or may not agree with this, and that's okay. but it kind of goes back like an old Weeder principle, Joe Weeder.
Yes.
Although a lot of that was very creative marketing, he also had some very, very good ideas. And one of the things that I learned from him that I still use in all my training is what's called intuitive training. And that is that you may have a preordained, pre-designed plan. But when you get there and you do that transition from the outside world to the training world and you pause, you look and ask inward. I know this sounds metaphysical, but just bear with me. Mm-hmm. You pause and ask inward, and you take that deep breath and transition. You say, how do I feel today? What is my body telling me? When like when you guys get on the mat and you probably do like karaoke or inside outside and you do like you'll jog around the mat or whatever. It like right then you either feel, God, man, I feel awesome, or you're like, oh, I am sore. Mm-hmm. Like kind of how the next 15 or 20 minutes is going to be if you're honest. You can always say, I'm just going to crush through it. I'm just going to, but what are you telling yourself honestly? So intuitive training would be, well, today we're going to do takedown defense. We're going to do sprawl drills, and then we're going to do like heavy bag carries, that kind of thing. But yeah. What do I feel like I'm doing or should do? What does my body tell me? I can still do that, but maybe I need to sit one cycle out. Maybe I do twice as much. Yeah. Maybe I'm going to work with a bigger partner because I'm feeling strong today and I need someone to push me. So you need to listen to the intuition because your body will tell you what's going on. But what happens is we don't pay attention. Like when you say, I have a gut feeling, you guys, there really is something called the brain in the belly. It's called the enteric nervous system. Enteric nervous system. And I forget the exact number. You can look it up. But there's millions or billions of nerve connections in your stomach, in your digestive tract. In fact, it feeds more information to your brain about how you feel about something than the brain itself. It's fascinating. So when you go, man, I knew it too. I felt it in my gut. Mm-hmm. Hey, you big dummy, pay attention to that. Because that's your body's way of telling you the truth. It's called the enteric nervous system. Look it up. And so you have to pay attention to that. Like, even if it's a relationship, like you've done that in a relationship, you're like, man, I knew he or she was crazy, and I did it anyway, and I should have known. I had that gut feeling. Yeah. The more we listen to the gut and respond appropriately, the better that connection is, the more in tune you become with it. But the more you ignore it, the more damage you're going to do to yourself. And that goes for every aspect of your life.
The enteric nervous system.
Yep.
I love it. Intuitive training. Intuitive training?
Intuitive training, yeah.
Intuitive training. I like those two things, man. If you can take those are nuggets. You just threw in.
All right, that's gold, baby.
Yeah. Those are nuggets, seriously, because I agree with both of those 1,000,000%. We're older gents, and we've lived a life, and that's
a nice way of putting it.
We're both successful, but we've seen the ups and downs, and we've gone through crazy stuff. We will continue to do so in our business, in our life. But these are things that we've learned that like you can take now and like be 1,000,000% further than we were back when we were younger, or like knowing that we can tap into these things and start like consciously tapping into these things. That's amazing.
Let me add one more thing.
Yeah.
Go to the chiropractor.
Oh, okay. That's my mom does that.
Okay. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't believe in it. Well, you don't have to believe in it because it's not a religion. Right. And yet some people say, well, my medical doctor says it's junk. Well, that's because they didn't study chiropractic. And if you go to them and you don't go to your medical doctor, then they can't buy a new Mercedes. Right. Okay. So, well, look, it depends. Your medicine's different in Canada, but the point is that the chiropractic is awesome. Now, you got to find a good chiro. There's some bad ones, just like there's bad dentist and bad podiatrist and everything else. But, man, when you get a good chiro, that is one of the reasons why I can move the way I can at my age, is because chiropractic has been a part of my health maintenance program for a very, very long time. So, and I'm very fortunate to have a chiropractor who's also has a master's in kinesiology. He's a certified athletic trainer, a strength and conditioning coach, and he's full body certified in ART, active release technique. So like literally no matter what's wrong with me, like he'll go, today I'm going to do this and use these techniques, and I'm going to do this and whatever,
Yeah.
So massage therapy, chiropractic. I've done some acupuncture as well. It didn't cure the problem, but it alleviated a lot of the pain. It was really interesting. Right. And everyone has different experiences with that. But overall, I thought it was a good experience. But ART, you guys, active release technique or active release therapy. People say it differently. But if you just look that up online, you can find a practitioner in your area. Most of them are physical therapists or chiropractors or athletic trainers. Active release is really, really good for combat athletes. It's incredible. It's kind of, if I were to describe it as a combination of massage, stretching, trigger point, and acupressure put together.
Yeah. I think Angela does that.
Great chiropractic. It's really good.
That's cool. Okay. So last thing before we go, being that we're not on the eve of, but I just want to get just what you think, and just very quickly your thoughts on Mayweather and McGregor. Who you think is going to win, and just what are your quickly though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is interesting. First of all, it's going to be the greatest sports marketing lesson ever. So if you like sports marketing and you like sports entertainment, watch how they play all this out because it's brilliant.
Okay.
I don't know how much they're earning. I believe that 100 each. Is it 100 each?
I think. Well, I heard someone say that like for Conor probably after pay-per-view, he'll probably be in like the 100 mil zone. That's after. I don't know what he's being paid without it, but like with what he's being paid, and then with the pay-per-view, he's probably reach in that zone.
Okay, so I'm going to try to go through this quickly. Never count Conor out because he's proven just about everyone wrong. He is a southpaw. He is unorthodox. He'll joust in and out using that. He also another karate taekwondo guy. Interesting, yes. Right? In and out style. But Mayweather, although I think he's 41 or he'll be 42 when he fights, he's out of his prime, but he's a legend. I mean, he's so good. And someone gave this example. They said it's kind of like having someone who won the Ironman triathlon go up against Michael Phelps in the 200 IM. You're going to lose.
Right.
Even though the guy who won the Ironman is a friggin' rock star and he's really good at swimming, if you go up against Michael Phelps, you're going to lose. Right. I mean, you're going to get blown out of the water. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think Mayweather's going to be careful because he don't want to get caught, because if he does, there'll be a disgrace.
Right.
And so he'll toy with him a little bit, figure him out, and I think he'll pepper him, and I think it will be over in 3 to 4 rounds. Is it scheduled 8?
Really?
Yeah, I do. I hope it goes a long time because it's going to be awesome, and I'm going to have a bunch of people over, and we're going to watch it. I think it's at the MGM in Vegas is where they're doing it, or maybe the T-Mobile Arena. I'm not sure, but anyway, we'll see. Mayweather's. People have never been up against a really good boxer, have no idea what it's like. It's like walking into a wood chipper. It's horrible.
Yeah. Well, I like that. Okay, I'm writing this down now because I'm gonna start asking the guests that I have on the show from now till the end, till that fight.
Yeah, I say Mayweather in 3.
Okay, I love it.
Although I love Conor, it's going to be awesome, and the trash talk is going to be spectacular.
That's awesome, man. So so John, how do they reach? Listen, can you do me a favor? Can we do this? Yeah. I'm not sure if we can, because I didn't talk to you about this before, so I'm asking you straight up. If we can give is there a code that we can give people who are interested in the MMACA? If we can create a code to give them like a percentage off, is that possible?
Yeah, I can do that. Okay. I love MMACA. That's the code. So
okay.
The website is MMAConditioningassociation.com. MMAConditioningassociation.com. Okay. And then once you put the program in your shopping cart, add the coupon code I love MMACA. Okay. And click apply, and you'll save 20%.
Awesome. That's perfect, man. Thank you. And I'll have the links, guys, and whatever. If you watch this on YouTube, or if you listen to this on YouTube, if you're listen to it on any of the iTunes or Spreaker or Stitcher, there will be a link for sure. Thank you so much, John. You're awesome.
Sure.
And there's other certifications on the Nesta site too. So You'll see I actually have a certification that I partnered with John, and we created a metabolic conditioning coach. But we'll talk about that another day. This is about
people love that, by the way, Funk. It's one of the most popular. It's really great. You
Awesome,
did an
man.
incredible job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Where else can they reach you, man? What else? Do you want to plug anything? You have anything coming up? Tell me.
So MMA Conditioning Association.com.
Yeah.
If they want other fitness stuff, that's Nesta, Nesta certified.com, Nesta certified.com. And if they're interested in what I do,
yes,
it's my website is my name, johnspencerellis.com, just like it sounds.
Awesome, man. I love it. Any other MMA certs coming up? I know you got the battle rope in there. You got
we have the battle rope is coming up. We have the speed, agility, and quickness. We have a functional training program, all kinds of stuff and we also, Nesta also has a nationally accredited personal fitness trainer certification as well.
Yeah. So all the certs you need, they're certified nutrition. So for me personally, just to let you guys know, I got my MMACA there, but I also got my core conditioning specialist. So I got that through that. And that was another extremely comprehensive, amazing, robust cert. Andy T, who is the co-host sometimes on the show, and he got his certified nutritionist certification through there. So
cool.
So it's kind of like, that's you want to be part of Nesta, because the different styles of certs will allow you to do so many different things. You can niche specific, or you can be broad. It's incredible. But I just want to thank you so much for being on the show, man. It's amazing. I loved having you here. I loved talking. I'm sure you're going to be on the show again to talk about something different, because you have so much going on. Maybe a business. Maybe we can talk business one day.
Yeah, we can talk about people. Talk to people. We can talk about people. I think we've done that today.
Yeah.
We can talk to the people about anything they want to do with health, fitness, wellness, nutrition, martial arts, and also the personal development aspect of all that as well. I'm happy to go over all that.
Okay, yeah, maybe we'll do that. We'll do another show with people who are interested in that for sure. Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate it. As you guys know, like you said, just head over. I'll put the links below in regards to how to connect with John, how to get that MMACA into your life. You can grab it, start using it. It's going to change your life 100%. But take a lot of what you heard today and start to apply it. Keep an open mind. Focus on connecting your body and your mind, and before you train, after you train, take that day off to rehab and reset. Don't be afraid to do that, and don't be afraid to try different things, guys. This is as you grow older, you're gonna try different things. Take what is useful, discard what is not. The old Bruce Lee. I didn't
yes, say it exactly. I love it.
How he said it.
I use Jeet Kune Do philosophy in life.
Right. Okay. Get a chiropractor. Make sure you get a chiropractor. Look up
a good one.